Hey my friend, today I'm going to share with you 6 ways that you can use minor 7 chords musically in your own music. And like I do usually in this video series, I start by showing you some chord shapes that you can use. So the most popular one for minor 7 is this one. This is by far the most useful. If you want other voicings from the 5th string, you could play this one. It's similar, but we drop the 5th of the chord. Or you could play it like this with a bar. A bit harder to play, so definitely this one is the most practical. From the 6th string, you could play this one. Some people also like to play it as a full bar, right? It's like a C minor bar chord, but you lift a pinky. Like this. And there's also what I call the Pink Floyd minor 7 voicing, which is this one. Right? Because of... Right? It's the typical Pink Floyd voicing. From the 4th string, you could play it like this. Some people like to bar it. I find it really not comfortable, so I play it like this. Or you could use the Pink Floyd voicing and drop the bottom 2 notes and use only that. So I think you have plenty of voicings to try if you want to follow this lesson. So the first way that we can use minor 7 chords musically is simply to use it on the 1, 4, and 5 chords in a minor key, right? So let's say I'm in the key of G minor. And I play a G minor, natural minor scale. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. Then on the first note, the 4th and the 5th, I'm gonna build a minor 7 chord. Right? So it's super musical, and of course you don't need to use all 3 of them in the same order. It's just you can use any of them in a minor key. And in a major key, that's the 2, the 3, and the 6 chords, right? So if I am in the key of C major, then on the 2nd note, that's going to be D minor 7. On the 3rd note, that's going to be E minor 7. And on the 6th, which is A, right? So I could have a progression like this. So thus far, it's pretty basic. It's just diatonic in the same key. So we're going to progressively go with nicer and cooler tips as we go along, right? So the tip number 2 is to use the 2 chord as a minor 7 chord in a minor key for a Dorian sound. So usually the 2 chord in a major key is naturally a minor 7 chord, but it is not in a minor key, right? So let's say I'm in the key of G minor. So that is my root chord. The 2 chord is supposed to be a minor 7 flat 5, or what people call a half diminished. But if I use it as a minor 7 chord, it's gonna give me a Dorian sound like this. So many artists are gonna use it, the version where you just bar, right? You use the bar and you could use it from other chords, right? I could do... So it's a nice modal sound. Use it on the 2 chord in a minor key. Tip number 3 is to use a rootless voicing for deeper extension. So if I use, for example, an A minor 7 chord, and I remove the bass note, which leaves me with, then that chord can be so many different things. If I add, instead of an A at the bottom, I add a C, it's just a regular C major chord. And if I add an A, it becomes a minor 7 chord, A minor 7. And we can keep going, right? The logic is that we are in the key of C major or A minor, and we go 2 notes down the scale. So C, B, A. And we can keep going A, G, F. Woo! That sounds spicy, but it's kind of very hard to play. So instead of playing the F here, we could play it here. I love this chord. Let's keep going. F, E, D. Also, a very practical chord to use. I made a video very recently about Steely Dan chords, and this one is very, very frequent in their music. And we could keep going. Not very good, this one, so I could use a B flat instead. Oh, that's nice. And then, so I have lots of options here. So what I could do is just to use that rootless chord and add many different kinds of bass notes to form different chords. Really nice to use it. Then the fourth tip is to bridge the gap between the closest 2 chords in a key that are minor 7 chords, right? So in the key of C major 7, the 2 chord is minor 7 and the 3 chord as well. So what many artists are going to do is kind of play a chromatic descending line of minor 7 chords in that spot right here. So it gives us something like this. And you can do that also in a minor key. So instead of between the 2 and the 3 chord, it's going to be between the 4 and the 5 chord, right? So if I am the key of A minor, then the 4 is here and the 5 is here, right? So something like... Really, really nice. The 5th tip is a really nice chromatic descending lines with major 7 and minor 7 chords one after another. But before I share it, go check out and download my chord dictionary guide. It's the first link in the description box. I offer it as a gift on all of my chord videos because I compiled so many chords that I have taught in my lessons, and I put it in the same guide. It's a really nice resource where you can learn so many great chords, add 9, add 11, cluster chords, many kind of chord progressions with different moods, and so much more. So it's free. Why not? Go download it. It's the first link in the description box. So the 5th tip is to use major 7s and minor 7s one after another. So you can just use a minor 7 chord anywhere you want. Let's say I use it here on G minor 7. What I'm gonna do is that the top note of this chord, I don't play it as a full bar, so the top note is on the 2nd string. I'm gonna keep it, and that's gonna become the top note of a major 7 chord, 1 semitone lower, like this. Right, so I play G minor 7, and then G flat major 7. And then I can keep going 1 fret down, I play a minor 7 chord, and 1 fret down, a major 7 chord. So it does something like this. And then you can go on and up down the fretboard as much as you want. This is a chord progression that I analyzed a lot in Steven Wilson's music. So you can click on the upper card to catch the lesson where I analyzed one of his albums and found that chord progression here. I find it really cool. So what I love to do with this is to create little arpeggios that go in that same direction with that same chord progression. Let me share with you this little exercise right here. So I start, for example, example, from a major 7 chord. Then I go 1 fret down and I play a minor 7 arpeggio. And then I keep the same common note and I transform this into a major 7 arpeggio, the same one. And then 1 fret down and minor 7 arpeggio. Right, so one after another, it's a really nice cycle full of colors and like modal sounds. And so on, right? So it's a really, really cool exercise. I hope you're gonna try it. The 6th tip is to use the minor 7 chord for funky embellishments. So you can take a chord like this, and then lift all of your fingers and keep only the bar, and then add them in with a hammer-on. It makes you think probably about the classic Long Train Running by the Doobie Brothers. And then you can use other shapes like this one. You can always do. And you can add your pinky on the spot where it is the note of the Pink Floyd voicing. And then in the song, they even use the 6th. So just have fun with this voicing, with the funky embellishments. There you go. Thank you so much. Once again, I'm going to remind you about my chord dictionary guide that you can get, first link in the description box. If you got any value out of this lesson, you're going to get so much more in that document. So many great chord voicings and tips and tricks that you can use with your chords in this guide. So once again, it's the first link in the description box below. And if you want more, I have a whole video series how to play major 7 chords musically, diminished, augmented, and so much more. So you can click on this video to get more. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, au revoir.